Do you chit your potatoes? What is chitting? Have you tried this before? Chitting is something that I've been doing for the last few years, and it's an old-fashioned technique that is used throughout the world to get your potatoes started before it's time to plant them out. Now here in my Ontario, north of Toronto, Zone 5AB garden, my potatoes typically don't go out until mid-May, or even the end of May. Now, typically I would have started chitting them by now, but unfortunately with the situation in the world, the postage service was delayed and my potatoes are about 2 weeks later than I expected them. So had I had them earlier, I would have started. So I am gonna chip my potatoes today. I'm gonna get them going, and I'm gonna show you some techniques that you can do and why I think chitting is a benefit. Now, most farmers don't do this because when they're planting a field of potatoes, they can't afford to spend time chitting their potatoes because it does take space. Now, if you're a home gardener, you probably wouldn't have as many potatoes as a farmer. So in that case, it's very easy to manage and definitely worth the while. So chitting potatoes is the process of sprouting them. So when you see, like, let's say you buy potatoes at the store and you see those little green sprouts that emerge at the top of the potatoes, those are chitted. Those are basically, they've sprouted. Now, to properly sprout them, when you do see those long stems that come in bags from the grocery store, if they have sprouted in the bag, those chits are very weak and they're looking for light, and that's why they're long and white. Typically they're not green because they haven't had any chlorophyll conversion in them, and they're also weakened because they're seeking out light in that bag. So that is not a good potato to use. Those chits, those sprouts, are not good chits to plant because of the weakened state that they are. So I'm going to show you how to properly do it and the different containers to put them into. So here I have some potatoes. I'm doing a lot of varieties this year. I'm doing about 10 varieties, but I have 3 here in front of me. I have Irish cobbler that I just received. I have German butterball, and then I have this new one that I'm trying, which is called candy cane. So some containers that you can consider using when you're setting up your potatoes for chitting is an egg carton or an egg box. These are very good, they're great to use, and later on you can throw them in the compost because they're so natural. They're great for like fire starting. If you're doing a campfire, I like to keep my egg cartons, and so they're great for chitting. Another great thing you can use is if you have these leftover wooden boxes from clementines. These are really great, and if you have more than a few to fit, or if they're too large to fit in an egg box, then an open box like this is great. And I like if you had a paper one from, sometimes they come, they're the same form, but they're made from cardboard. Those are fine too. You can use a cardboard box if you wanted to. You could use a wooden box. I like this one because it's a great way to not like fill the landfill with stuff that doesn't break down. This is wood, eventually it would, but it's got all these nails and things in it. So anyways, I think this is a great container for chitting. Another one that I'm going to use, because I have a lot this year, is this one. This came when we purchased some produce, and I got this box. They delivered some asparagus in this, so I kept this. It's flimsy, so it's not a bad box. It's great for harvesting, but it's also great for chitting. So we're going to start first with the egg box, okay? So I'm going to open up my candy cane. Now, I've never grown this variety before. If you have grown this variety, please let me know. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think of candy cane potatoes. But I have not seen them yet, so I'm very excited to see what they look like. I ordered my potatoes from a specialty seed potato company out of Alberta because I think it's important to only grow seed potatoes. They're free of disease, and they're not sprouted with any kind of sprouting inhibitor. So I prefer to use seed potatoes. So here they are. So these candy cane. Oops. So this is what they look like. They look like they are covered in dirt. But looking at the skin, it looks like there's some pink in it. So this is pretty exciting, and I wonder what they're like. I know candy cane beets are striped. I don't expect these to be striped, but we'll see. So what you want to look out for is you want to see where the potato was attached to the mother when it was harvested. And then these are like the eyes. So these ones here have sprouted, and these are good. They're not too long. And so here's the spot. It's like this little like crusty kind of bump area where right here is where the potato was attached to the mama plant, and then there would have been like these stems, and so this is where it dried up, and this is the side you want to place down when you're placing your potatoes to chit. And these are the chits. These are already started. The best is to only have 2 or 3 chits per potato. Any more than that in their weekend. So if you do find you have more than 2 or 3, some people only do 1, some people do 2. I'm pretty flexible, so if 2 or 3, I'm comfortable with that many. And I prefer them to be at the top. If there's none at the top and they're started on the sides, I leave them alone. But I see here there's one which looks like a double here, and then I see that there's another one here. This is fine. So I take my egg box, okay, and I just place it like this. And then I'm gonna take the others, again, looking for the bum, or I call it the bum. There it is. And the top has the eyes. Right now, I only see a couple of tiny ones starting, so I'm gonna leave it as is, put it in my egg box like this, use the next one. Okay, so here it is. If you remember, if you could take a look, see this is a little spot I'm referring to right there. There it is. Now in this case, this one has an eye on the side down the bottom. It's got one right here that's leaning, and then it's got a couple of other little ones. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it for now, and if this produces more, then I will remove the one at the bottom. But for now, if it only has 2, I'm fine with it. I'm gonna place it in my egg box like this, okay? And then I'm gonna do the next one. Again, here's the part that was attached to the potato. This only has like 1 at the top. I'm gonna place that in my egg box, and I'll show you what that looks like afterwards. Okay, and now I'm looking at the last one, and I'm trying to find the spot, and sometimes these spots are tricky, but what I can see is that the eyes have developed here at the top of the potato. So if you take a look at that, I'm not sure if you can see, there you go, and here's where it must have been attached. I can sort of feel it, but the potato's a little bit dirty, so sometimes it's hard to tell. So there they are in my egg box. I do have another bag, which I will do after. And then you want to be sure that you label it, because what happens is you can either label the egg box, which I've done in the past, but I'm going to label my label instead, my plant label, because once I plant them, I want to make sure that I don't forget what they are, and which always happens to me whenever I plant potatoes. I often lose some plant tags, birds pull them out, the sun fades them. So there it is. Candy cane potato. So I'm just gonna lay that in my egg box. I can actually, like this, okay? And then I know, and so once I fill it, I could just leave it on the side of my egg box like this, and then I know that that's candy cane. Okay, so that's one method, and I'm gonna leave that one aside. Now, if I wanna use this box, it's the same thing, you just lay it out. So I'm gonna take my Irish cobbler potato, crack it open. Okay. So I see that a bunch of them here have already started to sprout. So there's the bottom of the potatoes I mentioned before, okay? And look at all these eyes that have started. So these are too many. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm definitely gonna take this one out. You can just simply rub it off. Some people I've seen online on YouTube like spoon it out with a little spoon. You can take a knife to it. I just simply roll it off. So now I've got 3 and I'm gonna leave it as is and see how they go. And if they're not healthy or one doesn't look right or they get too many or maybe another one sprouts, I will remove those before I plant them. So you take your box. It could be any kind of wooden box. I even like antique boxes, you know, that Pop used to come in. Any kind of wooden box, but you can make your own wooden box. But anyways, all you do is just take it and just stand it up in the box, making sure that the bum side is down and then the eyes are up. Okay, so here we're gonna take a few more. And so I'm looking at this potato here, and there is that part right there at the bottom. So technically it's like this, but I'm gonna lay it like this in the box. And basically the 3 eyes are combined. So I'm just gonna stand it in my box. I'm gonna tip the camera a little bit so you can see. I'm just gonna stand it in my box like that. Okay, take another one. There's the bum that I was referring to. Now this one has an eye that I don't like, so I'm gonna take that one off right now, and they will grow back if they want to. Now I see this one's got another eye here, and this one at the bottom. I'm gonna remove this one at the bottom because I don't want that. Okay, there, it's out. Now all I have is 2, which is perfect, and the 3rd forming. So I'm gonna place that in my box, like so. Take another one. This one has got 4 eyes. So I don't need to have so many eyes. I'm gonna take that one off. And I think I'm gonna take off this one and only leave 2 because it's a small potato. It looks like a little, like 2 little horns or 2 little ears. Isn't that cute? Okay, I'm gonna stand that one here. Oops. So what happens is, with time, they will just hold themselves up. So I'm looking for the bottom. Sometimes they're tricky. It's sometimes, there it is. There it is right there. And there's an eye. So I'm taking that one off, okay? And I'm going to leave these and I'm gonna stand it up. Okay, there's the bum at the bottom. I'm gonna take these out and I'm going to take these side ones out and I'm left with that. Okay. Like this. There's the bottom. Take that off. I actually don't like the look of this one. It's got this weird scab or something on it, and that makes me, I don't know. To me, that looks really weird. So I'm not even gonna use that one. I have enough potatoes in here. And now I don't know if I'm correct, and if I'm incorrect, if you could please leave a comment below and let me know if you think it's fine. But I'm always cautious when I'm trying to plant. I don't want to plant anything that may be sick. So I would rather just err on the side of caution and not plant anything that looks weird. And that one just looks really weirdly scabby. Anyway, and I don't want any scabby things in my garden. Okay, there's the, this one's really tricky. I think that's the bottom. I'm just gonna take off all those extra eyes and I'm gonna leave that. And now this one. And this shriveled up one right there. And that's it. Okay, and that's how it looks when it's done. Okay, and finally, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't forget to label it because I will definitely forget to label it when it's done. And this one is called Irish Cobbler. And same thing, and then later on I'll use these labels in the garden and just set it like that. Okay, and now finally, for the third method, you can use, I have this variety here, it's called German Butterball. Pop it open. Okay, so this is another one. Now, I don't have enough potatoes to fill it, so what I'm gonna do probably is just do sections, but I wanna line the bottom with some newspaper. Let me just tip the camera up a little. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna line the bottom, so I'm just gonna take it. So I always keep my flyers, just a little hint there. I really love to, I keep my flyers and I use them in the garden all the time. I line pots with them. I use it for compost, and so there you go. I've lined it, and that way in case anything like is gross in there or something rots, nothing's gonna leak on my table. Okay, so I'm gonna take some of these potatoes out. And so you do the same thing. You find the bum. I think that's the bum, and I'm going to just take off the eye that's at the bottom, and I'm going to stand it up if I can. This is a really big box. Okay, this one's funny. Now I think if you planted your potato, this one's got an eye right at the bottom. I think if you planted it in the wrong direction, I don't think you need to worry, because as you saw that last one there, it had an eye right at the bottom. So I think that if you put it in the wrong way, it's still gonna find it's the right way. It's still gonna produce potatoes for you. So, you know, I don't think it's worth stressing over. I think if you can do the best you can in finding it, and if you can't. So just another example. I don't know if you could see that. It's right over there. There's a little tiny, like, it looks like a little dried little stem end. Now, if you can't get these potatoes to stand up and they roll over in the box, that's okay too. As long as, you know, they're in some kind of direction, they're gonna be okay. Eventually, when you put it in the ground, they will all sort themselves out. So now I'm just showing you for the purpose of this video, but what I'll do afterwards, I'll just stand this up like this, but what I can do is divide this box. I can use some newspaper to divide into sections, and then, you know, you'd pop a label in and have them all separate that way, and I think that would work just fine. Now I have 10 varieties that I'm planting this year, so I definitely need the space to put them. See, this one's really vague, but I think that's the bottom. And, you know, I'm not going to take off all the tiniest little eyes right now because I can always do that later. Once they start to grow and before I plant it, I can make a decision and I can remove them at that point. That one there is quite big, and I'm going to leave that one there. Now, the reason why you want to remove these eyes is what people say is that if you don't, then the energy, you want to produce the largest potatoes you can. So if you have a lot of eyes on a potato, you would be, the plant would be spending a lot of energy trying to produce a lot of stems, a lot of potato plants from one small potato. So by removing the eyes, the energy gets focused into dividing it between the number of eyes that there are, as opposed to, you know, going in all directions. Now, in my case, I don't cut my potatoes. Some people do. Some people will divide their potatoes into eyes, like each, so they take a potato, and you can do that if you want. I don't do that because I find it to be a lot of extra work, but if you're short on potatoes and there's a food shortage, it's definitely possible. So in this case, to give you an example of how you would do it, and then you wouldn't really chit your potato, you would just cut it and you would plant it. So what you do is you would cut it into sections. So you see there's an eye here, an eye here, you'd cut that in half. There's even two there if you wanted to really be technical. You can cut that down in half, and you can turn this potato, there's another one there. So you can cut it into sections, and then you have to leave the sections for 24 hours or overnight to dry, because you want to develop like a callus where you cut it. If you put it into the ground, freshly cut, it can rot. So when you cut it, if you're going to do that method, then you want to cut it, let it callus over and dry up, and then you can plant it the next day. So that's it. That's how you do it. I'm going to continue here. I have 7 more varieties to do. I'm going to label this one, but just to give you an idea, so this is how it would look. And you can just fill your entire box if you have a really big bag. If you're planting a lot, you can use a large box like this and fill it with one variety or divide it into sections and do several varieties. You can do this method, which was, you know, they're all supporting each other in a smaller box. Or I'm going to go back to the egg carton method here. And you can do it this way and fill your egg carton all the way. Now, if you can't fit them all and all you have is egg cartons, you don't have a box to use, then you can use several egg cartons. What I do then is I take one egg carton and I put another one here and I kind of overlap them if it's one variety. And if you only have a couple varieties and this is all you have per, then you can just kind of divide them and label them within the package. You can draw in the box, whatever it takes to work for you. So that's it. Have you tried potato chitting? If you have, I'd love to hear from you. A lot of people do this, but a lot of people don't or never heard of it. So let me know in the comments below if you chit your potatoes, and if you prefer not to, why not? And then as well, if you have any other potato growing suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment below. Also, if you did like my video, please be sure to click the like button to give me a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to click the notification bell to be notified of any upcoming videos. I thank you so much for watching and for tuning in, and I look forward to chatting with you all again soon. I'll definitely be posting more, and I hope you're all doing really well, staying safe, and happy gardening. Thanks so much.